Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to another video. Today's video is a little bit different. I'm taking a little bit of a different approach. As you guys know, I do have a family vlog channel, so of course I wanted to explain to you why I decided to buy a family vehicle. In today's video, I will take you through some of the, as Doug would say, some of the quirks and interesting features. We'll take you through some of how the infotainment system works, because there's a lot of quirks in the infotainment system. There's a lot of things that can be done in the infotainment system. And when I first got this car, I literally took probably 2-3 days just sitting in it, playing with it, messing around with it. Not consecutively, but I mean over 2-3 nights I would come park the car and then come sit in the car and really just mess around with the different features and different things. So without any further ado, I would like to take you through some of the things that happens right here in the entertainment system. Jolion is a Chinese brand vehicle, which a lot of people are thinking, a lot of people are skeptical. So I'm from South Africa, right? And so in South Africa, the German branded vehicles are very popular. The VWs, the Mercedes-Benz and the BMW are massively popular vehicles. And more often than not, over 90% of the vehicles you will see on the road would be one of those three brands, right? VW, Mercedes-Benz or BMW, right? And so when the Chinese hit the market with this Jolion, it really was a game changer. So the Haval brand was a little, you know, they were kind of in South Africa, and you would see the H2s driving around and all that kind of thing. But when the Jolion came out, it was very, very different. It was a whole different ball game. They made it very, very fancy with the LED day running lights. The setup in the back really does remind me of a Volvo, and the setup in the front, I can't really put my mind to what it reminds me of, but the back side does remind me of a Volvo SUV. I think it's the C70 or CX70, I'm not sure. But be that as it may, a lot of people were skeptical when it first came out. People were saying, hey, is this worth buying? Is it a good brand to buy? Does it make sense to get this car or not, right? And I'm going to answer all those questions for you in today's video. Number one, the Jolion in particular, I can't speak about, I know there's also the H6, I think it is, but the Jolion in particular is a 1.5 turbo version. So you get different variants. So you get the entry-level variant, which really doesn't have much going. It's a manual transmission. It's cloth seats. It really doesn't have a lot going for it. I've sat in it. I've played with it. It doesn't have the sunroof. It doesn't have, there's a bunch of things it doesn't have, right? Then you get, the level up from that, which in South Africa at the time was going just in the 300,000 Rand range, which was what they called the Lux, right? And so that had the automatic version with this. Listen, this is not genuine leather seats. It's like a synthetic leather, but it does the job and it looks the part. Then it came out with these seats. I mean, that's the Lux, the normal Lux. And so what that would have is, it would have everything that the Super Lux has, which is the variant that I ended up taking, which is the top of the range variant in the Haval Jolion. So the Lux has everything the Super Lux has, except it doesn't have the heads-up display, and I don't believe that it has the lane keep assist, right? Which is a feature I would speak about a little bit later, just to get you real into it. So the variant that I specifically went for is the Super Lux. So the Super Lux is the variant where you have you have all the bells and whistles. I'm talking about the heads-up display. I'm talking about the lane keep assist to the point where it almost technically drives itself, right? I'm talking about the radar reader, where it reads the car in front of you and it kind of keeps the distance between you and the car in front of you. You can also set that depending on how you want to set it. 2 cars, a car length, like 3 car lengths, 2 car lengths, 1 car length, and you can set that up, right? It also has a camera in the center where the rear view mirror is, which also shows, I think that's where the camera sits that reads the road. What the top of the range, which is the Super Lux, also has that the normal Lux does not have, is the 3D camera, right, which is a top view of your entire car. And how this technology is put together is that it has 4 cameras around the car. It has a camera in the front, a camera in the back, which is the normal rear view camera that many cars have, and then cameras on either side of the car underneath the side view mirrors. And what happens is it takes the 4 images and it stitches it together, and it gives you a aerial view of the entire car, which is a beautiful thing. And once you get used to it, you cannot undo it. Every time you get into a different car, you want that, and you cannot find it anywhere else. So I am recording this video in my garage at night, and so it has a very, very, very cool clear and simple kind of finish on the dashboard. It only has this screen over here, and then of course it's got an LED screen in there. Only those 2 air vents there, and then of course the air vent in there and the air vent in there. The steering wheel is very simple as well. Obviously you've got the volume rockers over there, and then you've got the selectors over there. When you connect your Apple Drive or your Apple CarPlay or your Android CarPlay, I'm not sure what the Android version is called, and then you can also make use of the voice activation, which automatically goes to Siri. You can answer and kill the call right over there. On this side of the steering wheel, what you're going to find here is you are going to find most of the controls for your cruise control. With the center button over there is the button that tells you, that chooses the car length. The set button is the button that sets your speed. Then of course your reset button, and then of course whether you want to activate your cruise control or not. And then of course the up and down rockers over there is to navigate through the dashboard display over here. And then of course your back button, and of course your OK button. Pretty straightforward, very much like your cell phone would be. These Haval Jolions also have the pedal shift version of the gears. These pedal shifts are absolutely horrible. They are not anything to write home about. They are not very, very, very good. It is quite a bad gearbox that you've got. Then of course in the center console here, excuse all my cards and my stuff here, you have your, again, this is a 1-year review, so I've been using the car, I've been daily driving the car. You have your park, you have your reverse, you got your neutral, and of course you got your drive and your manual. So we didn't know what that M stood for when we first got the car. That stands for manual, and when it goes into the M over there, it then puts the car into manual mode, and then you would have to go to minus pedal shift or plus pedal shift, right? So in the instrument cluster over here, we got some interesting things going on. When you press and hold the OK button, watch what will happen. When you press and hold the OK button, it then brings you up onto your different options that you have right here. So this would then show you the tire temperature, each tire individually, and the tire pressure of each tire individually. And then of course as you rock it up and down, then you would go then through your different options over there. So that would be your speed, that would be your trip meter, and then of course your average speed, and then of course your fuel usage and your range. One of the irritating things with the Super Lux, in fact, is something that they should have worked on, is when your lane keep assist is on, you can't navigate through your through these different options. It really does make life that much more complicated, because every time the car goes off course, it changes whatever it is that you were looking at, and it brings back the lane keep assist image over there onto that screen. And so that really does make it complicated. Then of course over here we do have your heads up display. Excuse my cloth there, it's what I used to clean the car, but you do have the heads up display over there, and then which sits in there. The housing is over there, and then of course it reflects onto your windscreen, and heads up display, which by the way you cannot see from any other angle. If you're sitting from the passenger seat, you cannot see it at all. Only the driver can see it. Somebody sitting from behind won't be able to see it. But I want to take you through some of this. If you hold down the return button over here, it will then bring up these little it will then bring up a couple of options over there, right? And so if you hold up that return button, then it brings up those options. And in order for you to navigate those options, what would happen is you have to continue pushing the return button. So it gives you the FM, it gives you your phone that's connected, and then gives you obviously your information there, and then boom, it will bring you to this option here. This option is an important option and an interesting option that many people don't know about, right? So when you overspeed, you can go into your overspeed settings. You can set it for, like in South Africa, the top speed is 120 kilometers, and when you set that, it will then give you a warning to tell you that you are now overspeeding, right? So your theme selection is also a very interesting one. So of course, just to go through that, you rock it up and down as you are navigating your way through that theme selection. And obviously to OK will take you into it. So if you go into the technology, you would see that it changes your whole theme. A lot of people don't know this. I've met a lot of people with these Jolions, and I've actually showed this to them, and they were super surprised. They didn't know that this feature was even here. And also when you go onto YouTube and you try and find this information, you do not find it. Then of course that would be your fashion mode, which would then look like this. And then of course the most interesting mode is the dynamic mode, and the reason I say this is because it gives you information that the other two modes do not give you. Information like your fuel gauge there, like how much fuel you are using as you are driving, and which the other two do not give you. Okay, cool. So that's quite interesting. Then of course we're going to go back here with the back button again, and we are going to go to the driving data. And when you get into there, it will obviously show you instant fuel, your range, and TPMS, which I am not 100% sure what that stands for, so I don't want to lie to you. And then of course your volume. So what volume definitely means is your radio volume. And then units. Oh no, the volume, sorry, it's not your radio volume. What volume means is the beeping and the sound effects that the car does. So if you've got the your lane keep assist also has blind spot assist, and so blind spot assist will beep 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 beep, and then that's the volume of that beep that you are now. And then of course your units, depending on which country you are in South Africa, we don't use mileage, we use kilometers. And then of course your pressure, so there if you go in, you can set whether you want it into kilometers, miles, and all that kind of thing. And then of course here by pressure, it's obviously the metrics that you use, PSI, bars, kPa. So then temperature, you can choose if you want to use Fahrenheit, degrees Celsius, and of course in South Africa we are degrees Celsius. Cool. Let's continue. Your language obviously, and then you can reset everything, and that's pretty straightforward. Back to manufacturer settings. That's something interesting that a lot of people was not aware of, that I just thought that I should throw in there. And then of course when you are here, we have gone through that before. Now let's go over to the center console. The center console is a story all by itself. I'm going to show you some gestures that you can go through. Okay, so if you push the home button, it brings you back all the way to home. Then you can, when you go into settings, on the side here, you're going to get all your things. And so you got the radio, you got the phone, you got the videos. So with videos, what you want to do is there is a slot down there where you could put a USB in. And when you put the USB in, you can go over here, your USB, and you can literally watch movies. So I got kids in the car, they want to watch stuff and they want to mess around, so you can literally do that. So and then of course you can make it big screen, and then that's of course much like your smartphone device. Very, very straightforward, very simple, and not much really going on there. That is of course taking it straight from the USB. Then of course your music will also take it straight from the USB. So you would go to USB, and then that would play the music that you would have on there. You can also play some images. So if you've got some images that you want to do, whatever the case may be, I got my kids stuff on there, and that's the story there. Then of course you come to settings. There's a bunch of settings. This is where you connect your Bluetooth. This is where your sound settings and all the volume stuff there. You can obviously just go through all of that. Your display settings, very interesting. You can lift the brightness. You can put it on manual or automatic mode. Your theme settings, these are interesting. You can do the classic theme, which is just a plain black theme, which I feel is a little bit more classic. But then of course you see all the fingerprints. So yeah, let's keep it on the classic mode for now. a traffic announcement that would change your channel to a traffic announcement. The wallpaper selection, you can select between these different wallpapers, and of course, as you can see, there's some interesting wallpapers that is standard feature on here. I like the plain one just so it looks a little bit more classy and it looks a little bit more chic. And then of course here you can choose the format of your time, whether you want it in 12 or 24 hours, digital or analog. And then of course here your system information. So let's go over to the car settings. There's a lot going on here. Let me start the car so you can get a taste for this over here. So in your car settings, like I said, in the top of the range version, which is the one that we did go for, you have the Super Lux. So it will have the lane assist settings, and then of course you can play around with that and check all that what is going on in there. If you have any questions, please do drop it in the comment section. I know everything about this. I've messed around with it, I've played with it, I've been with this car for a year now, so I'm very, very well versed and familiar with what's happening over here. And then of course your comfort, which is your external rear mirror folding. So when you lock the car, the side mirrors would these side mirrors will close. Front washing interval, so that's the wipers, how long it must zip, zip. And then wireless charging, which by the way, you got your wireless charging port right here, right under, excuse me, I think the light just died on me. Let me just get that light back real quick. So you got your wireless spot over there, and as soon as you drop your phone on there, it will begin to charge, and it will show right over here that it is charging. That's your little indicator to show that indeed your phone is charging. Then we got your driver setting here, your unlock mode. If you push the button once, twice, 3 times, once or twice, if you push it once, only the driver's door would open. If you push it once, you can open all 4 doors. In South Africa, where we live in Johannesburg, you don't want to take that risk. You rather just want it to have the driver door open, just so that you don't get knocked. And then speed lock is literally when you are driving and you pull away, the doors are open, and as you pass 15 kilometers, you hear all the doors locking. Tire driving is something that we do not have in South Africa. I saw it on the Australian version of this car. It has a little thing here that watches when you are tired, and it will give you a warning. Power off unlock, and so when you switch the car off, and then all the doors will unlock. Okay. Multi-mode settings is comfort, driving mode, economy. So here you got sports, economy. It gives you a little bit of a nice animation there, depending. So that's economy, will have leaves flying around. Snow would have this driving in the snow. Normal would just have the car driving normal. Sports would then just be like the car is flying. Economy, petrol is quite expensive, so let's keep it in economy for now. Okay, driving mode, switch store, and then color settings for the internal. Here you can change it to red, blue, and so what that means is it will change here. So red, blue, and gold. Cool. So that's where you change that. Ladies and gentlemen, and this is a long video, but a lot of people don't know this, and I thought let me make a video where I know when I first bought this car, I was looking for it. So HUD stands for heads up display, which is your display over there on your windscreen, and here of course you can choose different kinds of modes. And as you could see, if I say sports mode, it's also the most interesting mode because it literally shows, let me just zoom into that. It will show that in the standard mode will be like that, and then snowfield mode will look like that, but sports mode is the most interesting mode, so let's just stick to that. Cool. Let's go over to light settings. So this is the power, this is the delay. So after 2 minutes the lights will die. Demo lamp is a very, very dope setting. When you unlock the car, all your LED lights make a nice display. The follow me home delay time, that's also when you lock the car, how long the lights will stay on. Sports mode light settings, that's very interesting. That's the LED sport lights. And then of course here we got search mode settings, and so if you can't find the car and you press this button on the key, which by the way, this is what the key looks like. If you press this button on the key, it will then do that. Also lens flash. So yeah, that's my story. And then obviously parking assist, and then the car calibrates that like that. And so, ladies and gentlemen, that is everything. So that is literally just a run through. As I said on my channel, that I will definitely also add some different elements. I know a lot of people bought this car, they were interested in what the car is like. It's very spacious, the boot space is massive, the back seats are massive, and again, the variant that we have, the full glass roof opens. It completely opens. You can either open or close just that, which is a standard thing that most cars with sunroofs have, or you can open or close the whole entire thing. So yeah, that's that story. So ladies and gentlemen, if you did enjoy this video, if you did get any value out of it, please do hit the subscribe button. This is a family vlog channel, and the reason I decided to throw this in there is because this is a family vehicle, and for those of you, you get a lot of value for your money when you are driving this vehicle. Just a heads up, it is quite heavy on fuel. You are not going to, we had a VW before this which was very, very light on fuel, and this car compared to that is horrible on fuel. So that is one drawdown, but other than that, technology is up to scratch. The response on the screen is perfect, the quality on the screen is amazing, the quality on the drive is amazing, the quality of the fabric of the materials used inside of the car is outstanding. It doesn't feel cheap, it doesn't feel like plastic. It gives a nice elegant look and feel. It is no VW, it is no BMW, it is no Mercedes, but for what you are paying for, this variant is now around the 400,000 Rand mark, and then as you go down, you are going down the 350s and the 300,000s, depending on the variant that you would like to take for yourself. So that's my story, and if you did enjoy today's video, please do hit the subscribe button and the like button, and see you on the next one. Goodbye.